You are waiting for something. Maybe you know exactly what it is. Maybe it is a decision being made somewhere without you. Maybe it is a question you've asked the future, and the future has not yet answered. And while you wait, the mind spins. Hi, I'm Moon. Welcome to English with Moon. The moon is always full. We just can't always see it. From where we stand, it looks like it is getting smaller, fading, disappearing. But it isn't. It is simply in a different relationship with the light. I think about that when I think about uncertainty. Some things are whole, even when we can't see the whole of them. Tonight, I want to sit with you in the not knowing, not to fix it, not to tell you it doesn't matter, but to help you find a little peace inside it. The human brain is a prediction machine. It is always trying to know what comes next. What is safe? What is dangerous? What to prepare for? This is not a flaw. It kept our ancestors alive. When you don't know what's around the corner in a dark forest, your nervous system stays alert. That alertness was survival, but we no longer live in forests. Most of us face no physical danger on most days, and yet our nervous systems haven't fully updated. They still treat uncertainty the way they always did, as a potential threat, something to be resolved as quickly as possible. The mind scans for danger. It runs through possible outcomes. It tries to reach the future before it arrives, to prepare, to protect. And so when we don't know, we spin. We run through every possible outcome, searching for the one that will make us feel safe. But here is the problem. The future is genuinely unknown to everyone, always. The most intelligent, most experienced, most careful people in the world are also living with uncertainty. They just have different strategies developed over years, often through difficulty, for making peace with what cannot be known. Here is something I find important to know. Neuroscientists studying the brain under uncertainty have found something remarkable. Not knowing activates the same regions of the brain as physical pain, not metaphorically. Actual neural activity, the same pathways that fire when you stub your toe or burn your hand, also fire when you are waiting and don't know what will happen. This explains something that many of us feel, but don't quite understand. It explains why bad news is often easier to bear than no news. Why you didn't get the job is somehow lighter than we'll let you know. Why a diagnosis, even a difficult one, can feel like relief after weeks of waiting for test results. Because knowing, even painful knowing, quiets the alarm. The brain receives the information, processes it, begins to adapt. The pain of not knowing is its own distinct suffering, separate from whatever the news turns out to be. Think about the situations that cause this most sharply. Waiting to hear from a job application. Waiting for medical results. waiting to know if a relationship will survive a difficult period, waiting for someone to tell you whether something you made, something you cared about, was any good. In each of these situations, the mind cannot settle. It loops. It constructs scenarios. It tries to reach the answer through the force of imagination. So if you are in a state of uncertainty right now, and you feel almost desperate for resolution, even bad resolution, you are not being irrational. You are not being weak. You are being human. Your brain is genuinely in pain, and you can be gentle with yourself about that. I want to tell you about lighthouses. A lighthouse doesn't know what ships are coming. It doesn't try to predict the weather, the cargo, the size of the vessels, the number of journeys tonight. It simply stands, and it shines. It offers what it can offer, a steady light in the darkness, and trusts that what needs to find it will. I think about this image when I think about living with uncertainty. We cannot know what is coming. The outcome is genuinely not ours to control. The timing is not ours to decide. Other people's choices, circumstances we couldn't have foreseen, luck, both good and bad, these are real, and they are outside our hands. But we can know who we are. We can know our values, what we actually believe in, what we refuse to compromise, how we want to be in the world regardless of what the world sends our way. We can know what matters most to us, how we want to treat the people we love, what kind of presence we want to be. And if we know those things clearly, deeply, as a lighthouse knows its own light, we can move through uncertainty with a kind of stillness, not because we know the storm will pass, but because the lighthouse doesn't need to know. It just needs to shine. Your character, your values, your way of being, these don't require the outcome to be determined. They are already yours. They can guide you through the waiting. Let me tell you about a woman named Yuna. Yuna spent 6 months waiting to hear whether she had received a fellowship she had applied for, a chance to study something she had dreamed of for years. A real door. A life-changing one, possibly. For the first 2 months, she checked her email every hour. She ran through every possible outcome. What she would do if she got it. What she would do if she didn't. Who she would call first. Whether not getting it would mean something terrible about her abilities. She made herself sick with the not knowing. Then, in the 3rd month, she made a decision. She gave herself 1 time each day to check her email. Just once. In the morning. And after that, she said, the decision will come when it comes. In the meantime, I am going to live. She took a pottery class, not for any particular reason, just because she'd always been curious. And now, she had an afternoon free. She described the first class to me in a way I still think about. I had my hands in the clay, and for 40 minutes, I couldn't think about the fellowship. I was just trying to get the shape right. And when the 40 minutes ended, I noticed I hadn't felt afraid the whole time. That was enough. She started cooking dinner instead of ordering it, because cooking required her hands and her attention. She began spending Saturday mornings at a local market, walking slowly through the stalls, buying things she didn't need and talking to the vendors. By month 5, she had almost forgotten she was waiting. When the news came, good news, as it turned out, she felt joy, of course, but also something she hadn't expected. She felt grateful for the waiting period. She said, "I found a life during those months. Things I love that I had pushed to the side. And I realized the fellowship was always uncertain. My life didn't have to be." Here is something worth sitting with. Almost every beautiful thing in your life arrived through uncertainty. The friendship that changed you when you first met, you had no idea what it would become. The first conversation felt small, ordinary. You couldn't have known. The opportunity that shaped your path, you didn't know. When you took the first uncertain step, where it would lead. The outcomes you couldn't have planned, the turns you couldn't have anticipated, those became your story. The version of yourself you are most proud of. You couldn't have planned them. They emerged from unexpected turns, from having to find out who you are when things didn't go the way you expected. Uncertainty is not only the place where things go wrong, it is the place where everything good and surprising becomes possible. If you knew everything that was coming, truly knew, with certainty, there would be no discovery, no surprise, no moment of turning a corner and finding something you never expected. The life that felt most alive would be replaced by a life you could have written out in advance. Uncertainty is the space in which life actually happens. And while I don't want to pretend it is easy, it isn't, and the pain is real. I do want you to consider that it holds something. It holds possibility, unfinished and open, available still. How do we actually do this? How do we find peace in not knowing? 3 things. The first, come back to now. Anxiety about uncertainty lives in the future. What if? What if? What if? But the present moment is not uncertain. Right now, this moment, as you listen, you know where you are. You know you are here, breathing still. The room is whatever temperature it is. Your body is resting. You are not in the future yet. The future is uncertain. Right now is not. Come back here as often as you need to. Not forever. Just for this breath. The second, separate what is yours from what isn't. There are things you can control, and there are things you cannot. This distinction is old wisdom, but it never stops being true. You cannot control the outcome. You cannot control other people's decisions, timing, luck. The things you are waiting for, they are outside your hands. Spending energy trying to control them is not just exhausting. It doesn't work. But you can control your effort today, your attitude today, how you treat the people in front of you today, the quality of your attention, what you make, what you build, how you show up. Pour yourself into what is in your hands. And as gently as you can, practice releasing what is not. The third, make friends with the words, "I don't know." Instead of treating "I don't know" as a failure, try treating it as the most honest answer available. Because it is. I don't know how this will turn out. And I am still here. And I am still trying. And that is enough for today. That is not giving up. That is wisdom. I want to say something about Yuna that is easy to miss. She didn't find peace with the uncertainty by thinking her way through it. She didn't solve the not knowing with the right mindset or the perfect philosophical framework. She made peace with it by doing something, not something that moved her closer to the outcome. Just something that made her feel alive and present and like herself. The pottery class didn't help her get the fellowship, but it helped her get through the waiting. And this, I think, is the underrated answer to uncertainty. We are often told to think differently, to reframe, to accept, to let go. And those are real things. But underneath all of that, there is something more practical and immediate. Do something good while the answer comes. Something that requires your hands, or your presence, or your attention. Something that makes you feel capable, curious, connected. Something that reminds you of who you are when you're not just waiting. The waiting period may last months, or years, or the answer may never fully arrive. Some questions don't resolve cleanly. And during all of that time, you still deserve to live well. The uncertainty is not your whole life. It is one open question in a life that contains many things. The pottery, the Saturday market, the dinner you made slowly, the phone call to someone you love. These things matter. They are real. They are yours. You are in an uncertain moment. Something ahead of you is unresolved, and you are carrying the weight of not knowing how it will go. You wake up with it. It follows you through the day. At night, when everything else has quieted, it finds you again. I want to say something about that weight. It is real. It is not weakness to feel it. Not everyone around you would handle it as quietly and as gracefully as you have been handling it. You might not give yourself credit for that, but the fact that you are still going, still being kind, still showing up for your life, while all of this is unresolved, that is something. And I want to say something else. This waiting is not wasted time. In the middle of genuine uncertainty, something happens to us that comfort and certainty cannot teach. We discover what we actually care about, the things that persist when the non-essentials fall away. We find out how we treat ourselves when the outcome is not yet determined and no one is watching. we encounter the part of us that is still there, underneath everything, regardless of what happens next. You have survived every uncertain moment of your life so far, every waiting room, every unanswered question, every night when you didn't know what tomorrow would bring, and tomorrow came anyway, and you moved through it. You are still here, not because every outcome was good, not because the uncertainty always resolved the way you hoped, but because you kept going, even not knowing, even afraid, even when the spinning was loud and the ground felt unsteady. You stayed. The answer will come, or it won't, and something else will. The story is still unfolding. Every story is, until it isn't. And while it unfolds, you are allowed to live, not to wait in a smaller version of yourself until the resolution arrives, but to live fully in the middle of all of this. The potter making something with her hands, the lighthouse shining without knowing what will come. Thank you for being here with me tonight. This is English with Moon, a slow, peaceful place for your English and your heart. What uncertainty are you sitting with right now? You don't have to name it. Just tell me how it feels. Leave a comment. I'm here and I'm listening. A new episode arrives soon. I'll see you in the next one. And until then, you don't need to know tonight. Right now, just this. Good night, friends.